post editor Jake. This video is a lot longer than I originally intended, but it is filled with great information, so just bear with me. What's going on, YouTube? Today I'm going to give you guys a gold guide for the month of December. This is an ongoing series that I have for y'all where we discuss what to buy, what to sell, what's going to be good to grind, and what's going to be unique about this month in ESO that you can take that knowledge forward and profit. So let us start with this new system that I'm going to be implementing. So I've been doing this series for a while now, and I feel like I'm always tweaking it slightly. What I'm actually working on making is a grand page that has all the sets that are worth grinding, all of the consumables, all of the maps, all of the everything. It's a work in progress, but what I'm going to do is just kind of use this baseline Google page that I made to kind of highlight different parts in no particular order, starting with consumables. Why are consumables going to be so important? Well, you have to understand two things. One is that the New Life Festival will be giving us double XP, so that your brain juices are probably already telling you, well, XP potions will probably be selling at a higher click, and you are correct, they will be, as will the things that are associated with them, such as the perfect row, which is used to create those, and the ethereal dust as well. But more importantly is that December is the highest played month in all of the Elder Scrolls Online's history. So November and December into January, the holiday period, is the highest play time for the Elder Scrolls Online. And December specifically also usually has the highest rate of new players, generally due to Christmas gifting, people being off from school, trying new things, getting into different types of things where they have off and they're not going to work. Classes are out for college students. It's all around. Everyone's able to kind of play more. Or if you're lucky, you get snow days. I don't get snow days anymore. I'm an essential employee. Sad times, unfortunately. But it doesn't mean I still can't list my items up. Why is that important to know? Because that means that you're going to have a lot of returning players and new players, and both of which want different things. So my plan for my list going forward is to kind of bold different things and point them out as I think a specific month will curtail to certain ones. For example, say a month has a PvP event, a lot of the PvP sets will then have a higher rate to sell. It's a little bit trickier when you have both new and returning players returning to a game, because then it's going to be a lot of everything. So take that with a grain of salt and take that knowledge forward. However, your Ambrosia XP pots are going to be selling like hotcakes, and overall pretty much every consumable is going to be doing pretty well because there's going to be a high player base using these consumables. Now, that also could mean that there's a high player base that are listing these consumables. So what you should do when you look at these lists is think to myself, okay, I have this, and this recipe. I'll check the market. So what you would do then is you would go to the market, see how many listings of something that you're interested in selling is, see if it's profitable for you to do, or if you're lucky, there might not be any listings in general, because that happens more frequently than you might think. And you're able to then profit. Don't just pick an item here at random. Try to see and check your market, because I play on Xbox and A. Xbox CU is completely different for what's listing. All of our listings are totally different, and everyone has maximum amounts of listings, which means that the market does have a cap. So keep all that in mind, and let's now talk about overland sets. Overland sets are still going to be relatively all kind of equal. I would note that I do think that sets like Mother's Sorrow are probably going to overperform in this type of market, just simply because you're going to see a high influx of new players, and Mother's Sorrow always seems to do well whenever there is an influx of new players. However, every single set here is going to do very well. If you're looking to snipe a very cheaply listed item, I would suggest trying to snipe the Trainee set. Trainee has become more and more popular with the inclusion of mythicals, and it generally gets listed for very low in a lot of those little side zones. Overall, our overland sets worth grinding. They're pretty good. You do have to remember too, with the inclusion of the sticker book, a lot of people have Tons and tons of these overland sets already completed, so they're not as profitable as they was, but definitely check out the list. Feel free to look, see if your market has any room for any of these bad boys, and let's move on to overland sets in the DLC zone. The DLC zones offer a wide range of sets, and the biggest ones that I want to point out is Frostbite. I know that I've been talking about this off, pretty significantly. But I also want you guys to consider sets too that have just been doubled. So keep in mind that everything inside of Western Skyrim and the Reach on this list was recently had double drops, which means that people are going to be offloading it on the market. And once that 30-day reset ticks over, the 30-day reset is a coined term where after 30 days of an event, you'll start to see all of the listings really start to taper off as anything that didn't sell falls off the market, goes back into people's mail. Now, people obviously can relist them, but generally, there's a significant decrease in the amount of volume that's going to go back on the market. That's why after 30 days, you can check to see if that rare style page that you got during a event is, selling really well, or if it's completely tapered off, or if people have decided to relist it. Every 30 days is usually a really good gauge, especially the first 30-day period after an event. Now, as far as other sets on here, these are all going to do very, very well. What I would say, though, too, is that a lot of these sets can be grinded very quickly, so instead of grinding a specific one, my method is usually do dailies in most of these zones. That way you're also rolling for a motive. So instead of farming maybe the Reach, Western Skyrim again, you could always do the Harrow Storm method again. Or do that Harrow Storm, but then go to the Deadlands on that same character. Then you maybe want to run over, do your Hughes Bane mission. Then you might want to run back and do, some other type of zone, maybe some Vardenfell dailies. That way you're not just rolling for the sets. You have a good market mix of items, and you're not over-reliant on one thing. And you're really not wasting as much time either. Because when you have more diversity, it's also a lot more fun too. And daily quests are much faster to complete, in my opinion, than a lot of other ways to grind for these set items. That also includes furnishing plans as well as motifs. Next, we have PvP sets in the non-Imperial City, specifically focusing on what's in the Elite Gear vendor as well as the other vendors / Rewards of the Worthy coffers. Now, there are a lot of sets here, to the point where I'm not going to relist all of them. I just want you guys to look at the list and go, all right, well, I'll grab 5 coffers of this, 5 coffers of that. Maybe you're getting some Mara's Bomb rewards, list those up, and so on and so forth. We don't have to go over everything that these sets do, because I think it's more important that you guys just have a mix, check your markets, see if anything that you're getting / grinding / wanting to redeem for is not listed, and then, pick one of these sets and list it up and make some easy profit. Next, we have Imperial City. Now, Imperial City, what I would note too is for a lot of these sets like Agility and Endurance, is that these sets generally get over-listed on my market. Now, again, as I've stated, this is just a market trend that I've noticed, but I have noticed that on PC, for example, especially on the NA servers, there's not as many listings when I was playing over there. Now, as we've stated before, these things always change, but what I will say is that a lot of people suggest those 2 sets, Agility, Endurance, even Willpower, as really good starter budget builds, so they are very easy to get. You can even get them when you're redeeming your keys, so if you're getting them in that method, it might be worth listing them up. But as far as converting your Telvar, those are some really good Telvar sets that you could pick, specifically Imperial Physique and Powerful Assault. Those are very, very good sets, and some of the pieces of those sets are well worth over $500,000 depending on the server that you're on, so keep all that into consideration. Next up, we have crafted sets. This is the second to last thing that I wanted to hit on. So I'm not, again, going to talk about every set that I have on here. However, if there's really good crafted sets that you think should be listed, or any other sets that you think that I'm missing that are really good, please put them in the comments below. I did this very haphazardly by scrolling with one eye open at night and copying and pasting them from my phone into a Word document. and just being like, yeah, I sell that sometimes. So please help me put in the comments below what you guys think are some missing sets or some missing things. But crafted sets are a little bit interesting because most of the high-end crafted sets, there's going to be people who have crafters that can make. So a lot of these sets might not be used. However, there's one in particular that you are probably thinking to yourself, he's going to say it, Order's Wrath has been highly suggested as a set for a lot of people. You can sell this on open markets. You could sell this to people in zone chat. It is a hugely popular set, very meta, as well as some other sets which I think are really good for budget builds, such as Hunting's Rage and Law of Julianos. As new players come into the game, they're going to see guides recommending those sets, and they are then going to be selling, because unfortunately they're probably not going to know that they could just ask somebody to craft them for them for almost for free. So if you want to list them up and you have a lot of extra guild slots, just toss them up in there. It's basically free to make these sets anyway, and you can easily make a couple thousand gold for essentially a couple seconds of work. And then finally, we have my other section, which is where I'm going to talk more too about the materials piece, because for those of you who watch my Christmas event, you know that Christmas is going to offer a new skin, but you have to complete these writ books. Now, these writ books are very interesting because it's not your traditional writ book in that you don't need to craft like a sword, you're probably going to be crafting like a chair. Now, the market is very interesting because there's two items that are highly sought after by the endgame community, and that is Heartwood and Mundane Runes. These things are sold constantly, and they are just gobbled up by the endgame community because it's the essential pieces to figure out and grind and design your house. So when other new players also need to fight with endgame players for these materials, they skyrocket. And what always is so interesting about these two items is most players have them, but they don't realize how valuable they are. So this is definitely the time for you to offload those two things in your inventory, put them on the Guild Trader. You'll definitely be able to sell them in zone chat because there's always people looking to buy them. So this is definitely the time to sell those materials, as well as if you're trying to get into the game, there's going to be a lot of people trying to buy glyphs, starter gear, so that's where you're going to be your materials. Also remember too that while bots have completely bottled out the gold mats market, you can always upgrade materials and your weapons and your armor and other things with these gold mats so that you can then ask for more on a guild trader, therefore kind of circumventing multiple listings and then trying to compete with these bots. It's an easier way to get around the clankers. Also, we have treasure maps. I'm probably going to increase this to have kind of every type of treasure map, and I will also post this around so if people want to see this total list, I'll figure out where I can put this. I was also thinking about making it like an Excel spreadsheet with like a little up arrow or down arrow for everything, but it's a work in progress. But treasure maps, not going to see a whole lot of upward or downward mobility this month. Nothing that's really going to be screaming, go out there and do your treasure maps. Companion gear, I would say, is also probably going to see an increase in value as more players come into the game. You're probably going to see more players utilizing ESO Plus and therefore have access to companions. I would probably wager that more people are going to want to be decking out their companions, and therefore it's going to be a higher increase. Writ books, definitely the holiday writ books will be going up in value, no question at all. Other writ books will probably be remaining around the same. It is important to note, though, that the Firesong patch is relatively new, and generally, when a new update adds new crafting tables that need to be purchased by guild leaders, generally your writ vouchers sell for a lot more because more people are farming those writs, which leads perfectly into writ voucher items, which will include those items such as the attunable stations, but you're also going to be able to buy your cooldowns. I always think that buying the cooldowns that make research faster are generally your best writ bang for your buck, and as new players come in, it's definitely suggested that they also utilize these items to help learn those traits that they don't have to pay an arm and a leg on a guild trader. I don't have a whole lot to say about furnishings. I think that furnishings will continue to do well. However, I would definitely suggest that you guys stick around and see, watching your Jake Clips Goal and Vendor review, because if there is any Christmas-themed items or themes that can be used in a Christmas-themed house, that they are going to be selling very, very well. Why is that? And that is because some of the biggest prize pools I've ever seen in ESO have been through housing competitions, and they are usually seasonally based, which means that there will definitely be a Christmas themed housing competition. And I myself am half tempted to make a top 5 Christmas themed housing video, as I think it's just fun to show off what people can create in the Elder Scrolls Online using some of these items as well, which will also only work to increase the value of your mundane runes and your heartwood. So keep that in mind as I wrap up the video here. As a reminder, we just did the giveaway pool for the month of November. We drew it on December 1st, which means that our next one is January 1st. All you have to do is leave a comment. We pull 2 random comments. One's from a subscriber. One pulls from every single comment that's left: positive, negative, happy, sad, motivational, melancholy. It can be whatever it is. They could just say comment. But if you can, help me out. What do you guys think about me having a total grand list of things that sell in the Elder Scrolls Online, and then just kind of picking out different pieces, but also continuing to just leave this list here and then kind of adding to it as more sets and more things are kind of added, to my radar from you guys. What do you guys think? What can I do to help? And I will catch you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.
Apologies for the no stream yesterday. I had completely lost my voice. You might be able to hear it a little bit today. I have been pounding different types of medicine and throat lozenges. I just think, honestly, that there's just dust in my apartment, which is crazy because I have an air purifier and I live in like 10 square feet of apartment. So it's very weird, but I also could be in my throat from somewhere else too. But apologize for that. I will definitely be back, and I hope this video was helpful. I figured it'd be a little easier for me to do a video, and I thought, I'm kind of getting close to the New Life event here, so I should start putting out the video for the gold guide for the month of December anyway. So thank you guys so much for sticking around. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.